Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 218 of Bill Man the Sport Guys podcast. I'm your host, Bill Man the Sports Guy. For the latest news of the NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, and college sports, this is the podcast to be. So, we got one big Major League Baseball news to talk about. We also have one hockey re signing to talk about. And let's talk a little bit about the NFL because the season's right around the corner. And honestly, I can't wait for the NFL to be back. Now, in next video, I am going to do my predictions for each division, but I want to know your early Super Bowl champions. Could the Kansas City Chiefs make it to Super Bowl again? Could the Philadelphia Eagles go back to back? Could one of the teams in the NFC division make a sneaky run to the Super Bowl? Would it be the Lions or the Packers, maybe? Could the Cincinnati Bengals bounce back, make it to the Super Bowl? Would the ageless Aaron Rodgers take the Pittsburgh Steelers to the Super Bowl? Could the Baltimore Ravens or even the Buffalo Bills perhaps sneak in? And let's also not sleep on the Washington Commanders. You guys let me know your thoughts and opinions on Twitter at BillmanSports, Instagram at BillmanSportsGuy, and here on YouTube at BillmanSportsGuy. So, and before we do the big baseball topic, there was one stat I did found interesting. The St. Louis Cardinals all-time wins. The most is against the Philadelphia Phillies at 1,247. The least amount of wins they have against. Actually, let's do this. So I list the Phillies as number one. Second is the Cincinnati Reds at 1,235. The Chicago Cubs at third with 1,226. The Pittsburgh Pirates, not too far off, at 1,224. And then at number five, the Atlanta Braves at 1,094. And to name the honorable mentions, the San Francisco Giants have 989. Now for the least amount of wins, the Texas Rangers, the Cardinals have only beat them 7 times in total. Next up, the New York Yankees with 10. And tied for third are the Athletics, the Sacramento Athletics. That's what we're going to call them in this video. I don't care what John Fisher has to say. And the Tampa Bay Rays at 13. The tie for fourth are the Los Angeles Angels, Toronto Blue Jays, and the Boston Red Sox with 14. Alone at number 5, the Baltimore Orioles with 15. An honorable mention is the Detroit Tigers 17 times. Now, I know I said there was one big baseball thing to talk about, but there's a second one that we're going to vote in. Now, when we get the All-Star next year, I want to know your thoughts on this because starting in 2026, baseball writers are now to vote American League and National League relievers of the year. This is going to be a bit interesting. Now, the BBWA announced it will be the same thing starting yearly awards voted on baseball writers that include league MVPs, Cy Young Award winners, Rookie of the Year, and Manager of the Year. And Major League Baseball itself has crowded relief pitchers of the year for decades. There were the Rolaids Relief Man Awards from 1976 to 2012 for both leagues. The Delivery Man of the Year Award from 2005 to 2013, one winner. And there are the Mariano Rivera / Trevor Hoffman Reliever of the Year Awards for both leagues, which have been awarded since 2014. Now for the big thing. So, Major League Baseball, it's been rumored from Rob Manfred, and last week when the New York Mets were playing against the Seattle Mariners, Rob Manfred has rumored and kind of confirmed potential Major League Baseball realignment. I hope I said it right. There have been 2 project versions. There's a National League and American League. There's a Midwest and Northeast. There's a Central, Mid-Atlantic, National League Southwest, American League Great Lakes, North, National League Northwest, and American League Southwest. Here's what's going to look like. For the National League Midwest, the Chicago Cubs, the Chicago White Sox, the St. Louis Cardinals, and the Cincinnati Reds. Then for the National League Central, you've got the Colorado Rockies, Kansas City Royals, Texas Rangers, Houston Astros going back to the National League. Then for the National League Southwest, you would have the Los Angeles Dodgers, the San Diego Padres, the Los Angeles Angels, and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Then for the Northwest, for the National League, Seattle Mariners, Sacramento Athletics, San Francisco Giants, and then a Major League Baseball team from Portland. Now for the American League Northeast, New York Yankees, New York Mets, Boston Red Sox, Philadelphia Phillies. For the Mid-Atlantic, Baltimore Orioles, Washington Nationals, Pittsburgh Pirates, Cleveland Guardians. For the Great Lakes, the Minnesota Twins, Detroit Tigers, Milwaukee Brewers, Toronto Blue Jays. And then for the Southeast, you would get Charlotte, Tampa Bay Rays, Miami Marlins, and the Atlanta Braves. This one, to me as a baseball fan, feels very strange. And this part right here, one reason why I don't like it is because I feel like it takes away the fun rivalries. The Cubs and White Sox, big crosstown classic. The New York Yankees and Mets, the Subway Series. You got the Marlins and Rays, Battle of Florida, in quotation marks. Then you have the Los Angeles Angels, Los Angeles Dodgers. I don't know what you would call it, the Battle of LA, the Battle of I-95. But then it would be weird seeing teams like the White Sox, the Royals, the Rangers, the Angels, the Athletics, and the Mariners all moving to the National League. While you would see the Phillies, the Mets, the Nationals, the Pirates, the Brewers moving back to the American League, which would be a bit strange. And then the Braves and Marlins. This is a bit weird, and I'm not a fan of this one. Because it's just going to be too weird, and it's going to kill the rivalry creativity. Now, on a second potential that I saw, for what could it look like, assuming we add expansion teams. Okay? It's going to require them to fly across time zones because the Western time zone's a bit of a killer. The Eastern time zone's a bit fine, and the Central time zone's been okay. Now, they're expected to expand 2 teams in the distant future. And we've heard cities like Portland, North Carolina, Raleigh, and Charlotte. I kind of saw both names appear. Nashville. But then you've also saw rumors of Salt Lake City, Utah. You know, I said Portland again. Does Montreal maybe make a comeback? Does Orlando get a team? Who knows? Now, here's a couple scenarios. It would create 8 14 divisions, and it would require some teams to switch leagues, which happened with the Houston Astros back in 2013, and the Milwaukee Brewers moved to the National League around 2012. Now, here's what it would look like. So I already read the first one, right? Now, here's another one I read. For the American League East, you would get the Red Sox, Yankees, Blue Jays, Orioles. For the North, Tigers, Guardians, Twins, Chicago White Sox. The South, Houston Astros, Texas Rangers, Kansas City Royals, Colorado Rockies. So in the second potential project, the Colorado Rockies do move to the American League, which it's going to be interesting to see how would they successfully do in the American League, because lately in the National League, it has not been too kind to them. And for the West, the Las Vegas Athletics. So this project still has the Athletics moving to Vegas by then. Then you would get the Los Angeles Angels, the Seattle Mariners, an expansion team from either Portland or Salt Lake City, Utah. Then for the National League, you would get the Phillies, Mets, Washington Nationals. Then you would have the Pittsburgh Pirates move to the East. Then for the Central, you would have the Cubs, St. Louis Cardinals, Milwaukee Brewers, Cincinnati Reds. Then for the South, you would have the Atlanta Braves, Miami Marlins, Tampa Bay Rays. So they would switch from the American League to the National League. That would be a bit odd, not going to lie. And then expansion team from either Raleigh, North Carolina or Nashville. And then for the West, you would have the Dodgers, Padres, San Francisco Giants, and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Okay? Now, these are hypothetical, and they remain in its expansion and therefore relegment. And it will wait until the current situations with the Athletics and Rays are resolved because the Athletics are rumored to move to Las Vegas come 2028. And the Tampa Bay Rays are still working on still staying in Tampa Bay or possibly moving in Florida because their home stadium, Tropicana Stadium, was destroyed by the hurricane last year. And the soonest new structure could take shape around the 2030s. But with the second one, my hope is that some of the rivalries, like the Dodgers, Padres, Dodgers, Giants, Dodgers, Angels, would all still stay the same. Cubs and White Sox stay the same. Yankees, Red Sox stay the same. Cubs, Cardinals stay the same. Cubs, Brewers stay the same. The Twins, Royals stay the same. Guardians, Tigers stay the same. Reds, Guardians, Little Ohio Classic stay the same. My point is, if these rivalries for the second that I just listed stay the same, and also I'd be curious to see what kind of expansion would work. Whether Raleigh, North Carolina, or Nashville get one for the National League. And it's going to be a bit interesting to see Nashville in the National League. I don't understand how Raleigh would work if for the Central if they were to get it, which anything could happen from that. Portland, Utah, it depends. My guess would be Utah because they have the Utah Jazz of the NBA, and they also have the now Utah Mammoth of the NHL. Now, as a baseball fan, this could completely change from how we watch baseball games, from how we did several years ago, especially when baseball first existed. So, as a baseball fan, I'm going to have a bit of a mixed emotions. There's going to be part of me that's going to like it. There's going to be part of me that's not going to like it. But I want to know your thoughts about it in the comments below. Now, we got that out of the way. There is one more topic we're going to talk about, and it does involve the Chicago Blackhawks because they re-signed Frank Nazar to a 7-year, $46.13 million deal. Now, they basically have some of the young. Now, I like the idea that they're going to start trying to get the young core extended. They locked in Frank Nazar. Now, the question is Connor Bedard, Kevin Korchinski, Drew Commissaro, their prospect goaltender. And I'll even throw in Spencer Knight. I will also throw in Oliver Moore and Sam Reinsel when their contracts come to an end. What kind of deals will we get from them? Also, because they're likely and basically the new future of the Blackhawks. We are well past the Jonathan Toews, Patrick Kane, Duncan Keith, Brent Seabrook, Marian Hossa, Patrick Sharp, Corey Crawford show. This will probably be the Bedard, Nazar, Korchinski, Vlasic. Let's not forget he's extended. Drew Commissaro, Spencer Knight, Sam Reinsel, Oliver Moore show. So I just listed 8 current players that look like to be part of the core. I like this deal. I think this contract's going to turn out very well for the Chicago Blackhawks. Frank Nazar is one heck of a player. Yeah, he may not be no Connor Bedard 2.0, but he's going to be a really good player for the Blackhawks, and I like this deal a lot. And this concludes today's episode of 218 of Bill Man the Sport Guys podcast. I'm your host, Bill Man the Sports Guy, and always remember, For the latest weekly news of the NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, and college sports, this is the podcast to be. Have a good week, everybody. Stay tuned for episode number 219. Peace.